On this video, I'll be showing you how to complete the fourth worksheet on the math section of your week 2 packet. So on the left side, just like in the last couple of videos, I've made an example question for you guys that is very similar to the one that you're completing, but the numbers have been changed. So I'm going to go ahead and start reading the question, and I'm going to underline important information. The area of Betsy's rectangular sandbox is 18 square feet. The longer side measures 6 feet. The sandbox at the park is twice as long and twice as wide as Betsy's. So this is going to be a 2-part problem. In the first part, they want you to draw and label a diagram of Betsy's sandbox and answer what is its perimeter. So I'm going to start by drawing a rectangle, and I'm going to label the information that I already know. So I know that the area, which is inside the sandbox, is 18 square feet. I also know that the long side of this rectangular sandbox is 6 feet long. So I'm labeling both of those. So to find the perimeter, I'm going to have to add all of these sides up, but the problem is I don't know what the missing side is, so I don't know the length here. I'm going to put an L. There are a couple of different ways that we can go about figuring this out, but the way I'm going to show you is just to write your equation, which is down here in case you forget, length times width. So 6 times L equals 18. In order to find out what the length is that's missing, I just need to figure out what I have to multiply 6 by to get to 18, which really is saying 18 divided by 6. If I count by 6s, 6, 12, 18, I can see it takes 3 groups of 6 to get to 18, so my length is 3. Now that is not the answer that they want. They want to know what the perimeter is. So I have all of my sides now, so now I can add up all the sides, because if you remember, your perimeter is the outside edges of your rectangle, so you're adding all of the sides up together. So I'm going to add 3 plus 6, which is 9, plus 3 more, which is 12, plus 6 more, which is 18. So my perimeter is the same as the area. Mine is 18 feet. Yours might be different. But in this case, the perimeter and the area ended up being the same. The only difference is that because I'm adding, instead of multiplying feet, I'm just adding feet. My label is just going to stay feet for the perimeter instead of feet squared like it would be in the area. So then question B, they want you to label a diagram of the sandbox that's at the park. And then again, they want you to find its perimeter. You'll be finding the area for question D. So for question B, they just want to know the perimeter. So I'm going to draw another rectangle. And they did not tell us what the area is. We have no idea. They didn't tell us what any of the side lengths were, but they did tell us that each side is twice as long as the sides on Betsy's rectangle. So if we know that the long side of Betsy's rectangle is 6 feet, and the long side of the sandbox at the park is twice as long, then we know it's going to be 6 times 2, which is going to give us 12 feet. We also know that since the short side of Betsy's sandbox was 3 feet, and the sandbox that's at the park is twice as wide, we can say 3 times 2, and that's going to be 6 feet. So that's still not the end of question B. We figured out the sides, but now we still need to figure out the perimeter. So we're going to have to add all that together. I'm going to take the shortcut, and I'm going to do 2 times length plus 2 times width instead of adding each individual side. So I'm going to say 12 plus 12 is 24, because that gets me both of my long sides. Then I'm going to say 6 plus 6 is 12. That gets me both of my short sides. And then I'm going to add all of that together, and I'm going to end up with 36 feet. That is my perimeter. label that P. That's not a very good looking P, but you know what it's supposed to be. Now we need to find the area, which is D. I'm going to skip C for just a minute. To find the area, we're going to do length times width. So we have 12 times 6. If you don't know how to do that in your head, you might have to write it off to the side vertically. So we'll do 12 times 6, and then you can line up your ones places. So 2 times 6 is 12. I've made a 10, so I need to carry that over to the tens place. Then I'm going to do 1 times 6, which is 6, and add that extra 1 10, so it becomes 7 tens. So 72 square feet is my area. Now, the reason that I skipped question C is because this is kind of an individual, what do you think type thing. What do you notice? So I can't tell you that, because then I'm telling you what I notice, and then you'll notice what I notice instead of noticing on your own. So question C asks, what is the relationship between the two perimeters? So they want you to look at this perimeter for mine, which is 18 feet, and this perimeter, which is 36 feet. They want you to find something that they have, not necessarily in common, but how are they related to each other? What do you notice about those two numbers, 18 and 36? And maybe this one's a little bit more tricky for you than perhaps the one that you're going to have in your own problem. So I don't want to explain that one too much in detail, because I want you to really use your brain and try to figure out what relationship you notice between those two numbers for question A and question B. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email, text, phone call, and I am always happy to help.